You know, I think a lot of people are worried about what you had said about potentially people could be killed.
I'm worried about it too. The rhetoric keeps rising and rising and rising. Someone's going to get hurt. And I meant what I said. If this violence isn't, and the rhetoric isn't tapped down, someone's going to die. And that's just a cold fact of life. Violence is going to escalate unless we tap this rhetoric down. But people need to accept the fact we're not going away. We're going to force this law. Deal with it.
Hi again, everyone. It's now 5 o'clock in the East. That was just a couple weeks ago when our friend and colleague Jacob Soboroff interviewed Donald Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, and he said that, quote, someone's going to die, end quote. A clear message from ICE to any undocumented immigrant or someone suspected of being an undocumented immigrant here in America. We are coming for you, and we're not going to stop. And violence, possibly even death, could be a reality, or in the words of Tom Homan, a, quote, cold fact of life, end quote. We saw the violence that he was warning us about. It was caught on tape this weekend in a video that has now gone viral of multiple large Border Patrol agents holding down one landscape worker, Narciso Barranco, outside an IHOP in Santa Ana, California, while he was doing his job. He was at work. We warn you, we showed you this video yesterday. We're going to show it to you again, and it is disturbing. You see the large agents on top of him. You can see them there with his right hand beating him, while other agents watch and provide backup. They punch him in the head multiple times and then take him into an unmarked vehicle. The Los Angeles Times is reporting that his shoulder was dislocated. Barranco is a dad. He has 3 sons, all of whom served or are currently serving in the United States Marines. Barranco's son, Alejandro, a Marine vet, was just able to visit with his father at LA's Metropolitan Detention Center. When he spoke with his father on Sunday after he was detained on Saturday, he said his father had not eaten, hadn't had any water, and hadn't received any medical attention since being arrested and brought into ICE custody. Alejandro spoke glowingly of his father, who he called a kind, hardworking person who loves this country. People immediately took to the streets in protest, and a GoFundMe for Barranco has since raised nearly $160,000 to pay for his legal representation. Now, DHS is in full, what should we call it, pushback / propaganda mode on this story. Called him an illegal alien trying to evade law enforcement. They say that reports that he dislocated his shoulder are false. They say he swung a weed whacker that he had been holding at an agent. But footage from several different angles seemed to undercut DHS's claim. They show Barranco, who was holding the weed whacker, just running away from the agents while still holding the weed whacker because, as we said, he was at work weed whacking. He was pepper sprayed by one of the agents before even getting into any sort of physical altercation at all. So he already had impaired vision, and as you can see on the video, it was much smaller than one of the agents, and there were multiple. DHS has not responded to NBC's questions regarding the new videos. It's where we start today with Marine Corps veteran, son of this detained landscaper, Narciso Barranco. Alejandro Barranco joins us in his first interview since visiting his father today. Along with me is my friend and colleague, NBC News correspondent Jacob Soboroff, who's reported extensively and brilliantly on this story. Alejandro, how are you doing?
I'm trying to cope with this situation. I'm trying to keep calm, keep my emotions low profile, and trying to just give my dad the best image that he deserves.
How's your dad doing?
I just saw him a couple minutes ago. I've never seen him like this. He's still wearing the same clothes that they got him in. He still has blood on his shirt from the beating. His eyes are still burning. He hasn't been able to shower. He hasn't been able to wash his face. He says he's in a cage, you can say, with at least 70 other people, no privacy, one toilet. He's received water maybe once a day and very, very little food.
How did he raise 3 sons who would serve their country in the Marines? What did he say to you about America that made all 3 of you want to serve your country?
He first and foremost, he always said we had to be grateful, to just thank our country, love our country. He always wanted us to have the best education as well, and just be educated citizens and law-abiding. He never had any hate or any type of dislike towards his country, towards this country.
And what was he doing when he was arrested? I mean, how do you think he ended up on the radar of multiple armed ICE agents?
I believe the ICE agents were in the same plaza as him. He was just working the landscaping job at the IHOP on that street, and I think they were just racially profiling people. There's videos out there, and my dad saw that a couple of guys masked up, civilian clothes, no IDs, no warrant, big guns, came up to him. He got scared. I think it's a natural human reaction, and he ran away. He didn't know who they were.
Alejandro, what do you and your brothers feel now as people who have made this choice? You know, we have a volunteer military, but as people have made the choice to go above and beyond and serve their country, to now see your father beaten and imprisoned, as you just said, in a, quote, cage by the same government.
It's very hard on us because we've always tried to we've always tried to help this country out. We gave our lives to this country. It's just not fair, and I don't like the way they're going about this. Honestly, I'm heartbroken because, I mean, I love this country, I love my parents, I love the community. It's just, I don't know, I feel betrayed.
I'm going to bring my colleague Jacob Soboroff in. Jacob?
Alejandro, it's Jacob here. Did you tell your dad what the Department of Homeland Security is saying about him, that he tried to assault them? I wonder if you guys talked about that and what he said.
I asked him. I said, that was part of the things that I asked him. I said, hey, they're trying to say that you hit them with a weed whacker. When he heard that, he was shocked. He was confused. He's like, what? He's like, when? And I was like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure when they're saying that, or like how. I see the video, but it's natural human movement, natural human reaction. He gets pepper sprayed like seconds before that. He said he never intended to hurt anyone. He never intended to hit anyone. And it was just natural movement.
You're a Marine Corps veteran, and your 2 brothers, Alejandro, are serving active duty in the Marines right now. The 3 of you all received training on use of force as Marines. When you look at the video of how those agents treated your father, do you agree with what Homeland Security said, that that was a minimum use of force?
I think it's the complete opposite. I think it's the maximum amount of force, and I think unprofessional force. You see in the video where my dad is running with the weed whacker, there's a so-called agent running with his gun in hand, pointing it sideways at a vehicle. At what point in our training are we taught to hold our guns sideways? It's always both hands on the gun, and your finger off the trigger. The most important thing, you're not supposed to put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to fire. The guy's holding him down, 5'7" guy, maybe 150-pound man. It doesn't take 4 or 5 guys, 200 plus, beating him in the face, pepper spraying him within inches, not even the appropriate distance. Like, that's just unprofessional. Yeah.
You served in Afghanistan. What would have happened if you would have treated a detainee that way in the Marines?
I promise you it would have been a war crime, and the situation would have been completely different.
It's been 19 days now of these raids in Los Angeles. This is day 19. I'm sure you saw them when they started, the protests as well. Did you ever think that they would come for your dad?
I knew there was a chance, there was that possibility, but my dad was always willing to take that risk. He had to provide for himself. So he had pride for us as well. So, I mean, he was just trying to do his job and praying that nothing like this would happen. At the same time, we prepped him for it. We told him, stay calm. If they come up to you, just know your rights. Ask them for an ID. Don't fight back, anything like that. But I think this just went completely wrong when these guys came up with big guns, not in uniform, and just assaulted him.
Before I throw it back to Nicole, Alejandro, I wonder if President Trump is watching, what do you want to say to him? What do you want him to know?
I want President Trump to know that not all these undocumented people are bad. Most of them are here, hardworking people who have raised children like myself, my brothers, to love our country, to give back. We're willing to give the ultimate sacrifice. We swore an oath to the Constitution. I just want fairness and a better pathway for people like my dad, for all these hardworking, undocumented people, an easier path to citizenship or to gain a legal status.